So let's just get into it because this is going to be a bit of a lengthy one because we're talking about London and how I was able to live there for a year as a broke 20-year-old. Cool. Got my Gatorade. It's kind of dripping all over the place. I have been super dehydrated the past couple of days and I don't know why. So I've been drinking a lot of Gatorade, but have you ever felt like you had too much Gatorade and you've kind of overdone it and your body's just like, ah. Anyways, I also thought the blue color might be a nice aesthetic for the video. However, it's not going to be in the video because I don't have a place to put it. So let's just get into it because this is going to be a bit of a lengthy one. I actually have some notes that I've written down. I've got like notes of things that I'm going to talk about in this and kind of have so that way we have a little bit of organization because otherwise my brain will scatter and I will go on tangents that I don't need to go on. So let's just gather breath. I get so nervous when I film these videos. Like my heart just starts beating fast and then my words become soup. They just don't come. It's like alphabet soup. But okay, let me try this again. Deep breath. Alright, we're just gonna get into it. So, I think I've already said that a couple of times, but anyway, for real, but now we're gonna get into it. Alright, we're just gonna have a chat, you and me, as we're sitting here. I'm sitting here, you're sitting, or standing there, or laying down. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, I'm talking to you. Basically, I was living abroad in London for about a year, almost a year, but then Corona happened. So that was this past school year starting last September, but the process to do all of that started in March. So let's just go right to the beginning. So I was actually living in Los Angeles prior to living in London. Although I'm from the East Coast, I'm from Maryland. So I've been all over the place, kind of. And that could even be a whole other video, like what it was like living in LA as a 19-year-old, because that was pretty interesting. Learned a lot, but that's not what this is about. In, I think it was January, I was actually feeling that I wanted to go somewhere else because I had been living in LA since August. January 2019, I was like, well, I want to try something new, and I had taken a year off to live in LA and after I graduated from my community college, so I have an associate's degree, and then I was like, well, I don't really know what I want to do, so I think I'm just gonna go to a new city, try and find jobs, like random jobs here and there, and just try something different because I was getting I felt a bit suffocated in my town because it's a really small town that I'm from, and I just knew that it's not where I needed to be, and I just needed to try other things and get out of here and take a breather and just like experience the world a bit more. So that is what brought me to LA. And then when I was in January looking to do something different all over again, then I remembered how I'd always loved London. I just like the idea of like tea time and the biscuits and the British accents. I just think accents are the coolest thing. Whenever someone has an accent, it's just like, ooh, where are you from? Tell me about yourself. I just think it's super interesting. But so that was a big motivator for why I wanted to live there, and I had visited it a couple of years prior. In 2016, I went on a like 10-day ultimate European adventure trip with a bunch of other students, even though I'm homeschooled, but they were from a private school where I was taking a class, and so they invited me to come along on this trip. So I was like, well, going on a trip to Europe, don't mind if I do. So we did that, and when we went to London, I just felt so comfortable there. It was a really weird feeling. I've only ever felt that in one other place that I've been to, and that was Amsterdam. I just felt like I could live here, like I'm so comfortable. And the only reason why that feeling stuck out is because we went to other places, like we went to Paris, I've been to Italy, I've been to all these different countries, and I just didn't feel the same way. But London, I remembered. But fast forward to 2019, I was Googling schools in London, kind of like study abroad programs, because originally I was looking at just schools in Europe, and I was looking at a program in Switzerland, and it looked like the coolest thing. I was like, oh my gosh, the whole year, and it was this really, it was like a creative program, and I was gonna get this degree, like it was an accelerated thing, and it just sounded perfect, but a little too good to be true, because then when I was trying to find more information, there was no button for more information, so it was like a scam, which is a bummer. But you know, it's not like I paid money or anything for it. It was just sad because it seemed like the best option that I had found. But when that one, it didn't end up panning out, I then tried looking for London things, and then I came across a website called Across the Pond, and this is kind of a free advertisement for them because they haven't paid me to do this or anything, but I just had a really great experience with them, and I was one of their like ambassadors while I was abroad, and so I was writing blog posts for them and a bunch of things. They were just the coolest program, and they made it really easy, which was such a blessing because I had no idea what I was getting into or what to do even. The very first thing when I went to the website was like the little chat box, and it was like, okay, do you have a question? I was like, oh, I do have a question. So I typed out everything I was wondering, and they set me up with one of their advisors, and she was able to answer all of my questions and really explained everything to me, so I had a so much better idea of what I needed to do. And I ended up applying through this program called the UCAS, which is the UK system for students applying to the universities there, and it's the same thing that students from the UK use as well. So it's just kind of everything in the UK, it's where all those schools are, just kind of in this program. So with the help of this lady, I applied to 5 different schools, and get this, okay, this blew my mind. The fee to apply to the 5 different schools, I believe it was $25 for 5. Insane compared to America. I don't know why certain other schools it's like $80 for an application fee. That is just, why do we do this? Ugh, it just irks me. But that was super cool. So I applied, and there's really only one school though that I wanted to go to because it was 40 minutes southwest of London. So I was like, okay, that's the one I want to go to, but I'm gonna apply the other ones just in case. About a week or so later, I heard back from 3 out of the 5, one of them being the one I really wanted to go to. And so I was like, yes, yay! And I ended up going forward with them. We figured out everything else that they needed from me, and then I was good to go. And I was in their system. They were going to be expecting me in the fall. Now I had to do the visa. Surprisingly, not as complicated as I thought it was going to be, but still a very nerve-wracking process. The process, I had to go on to the website. It was like uk.gov visa. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put it down there because I have no idea. But that was where I had to start it. It was like start the application process for the visa, and I learned a lot about all the documents that I needed to get, and like I had to get the specific number from the school that was proof for the application. They were sponsoring me to be there as a student in their country, and there was a lot of steps to the process, and I'm not going to get into all the little details here because that's kind of, it's like that could be a video in its own, just kind of explaining the process. If you want that, I can totally do that. I did make a video about when I got my visa, and I have on that, in the video, there's a sticky note at one point on the document, like the manila folder that I had, where it was like all of my checklist things, everything I need to put in there, which is what I found from the website. So if you wanted to at least just get a basic idea, check that video out. Essentially, yeah, so I went through the whole visa process and had to mail everything, all these documents, get them all sorted together, mail it off to the New York office, and I was still in LA at the time. And then this was really cool. When I applied for my visa thing, I prayed every single day. It was like normally you get your visa within a month, but I was like, you know what, I really need it within 2 weeks. So I submitted in the beginning of August, and so actually around this time last year, I was waiting for my visa to come back. On this very specific day, I think it was August 15th, prayed every single day, and August 15th comes around and I get a package in the mail, and it is my visa with a visa stamp inside. Oh my gosh, actually I have my passport. That was my phone. I have my passport. My coat was hanging behind the camera. This is my visa, my passport holder. Dun, da, da, da. Okay, so where is it? Ah, here it is. And that is my visa, and it is super shiny, and it has all of these like pretty things to it, and it was just one of the craziest moments of my life. Just, oh my gosh, I can't even describe it. I can't even speak. So that was wild, and that was just the visa process. Oh my gosh, we haven't even gotten to London yet. So like I said, I'm a big talker, but I hope this is all useful information. I think it is. I'm basically taking you on a journey with me with this story. But yeah, so I get the visa. A couple weeks later, I set off on the flight, and I actually went on I went on a little travel adventure with my mom and one of my brothers before I went to London. So we went to Paris, and we went to Brussels, and that was a really fun trip. And then my mom and I took a train up to London, and that is where it all began. You know, went to my dorm, we got all checked in, saw that it was me and 27 other roommates on one floor, and we all had our own rooms with like a little sink inside and like a closet. So it was like decent sized rooms, but we all shared bathrooms, which was toilets and showers and a sink. Yeah, that might have been self-explanatory, but anyways, we also shared 2 kitchens, but basically we ended up all kind of being in the bigger one most of the time. It was like our hangout kitchen because there was windows in that one, but there wasn't windows in the other one, which seems odd. And throughout the year, that dorm ended up having a lot of issues, and you get what you pay for. It was one of the cheaper ones, but I didn't mind saving the money for these little issues here and there. Overall, it was really crazy because I was living on a floor with people from all over the place. People from Norway, from Lithuania, from Algeria, from, oh my gosh, what did we have? We had Irish people, or one girl was from Ireland, and we had, oh my gosh, if I don't remember them, that's gonna be terrible. Oh, we had a lot of British people as well, and it was just crazy. Like there was just so much culture we were surrounded by, and there was other Americans as well. It was 28 of us, and we all became really good friends, and it was such a fun experience. And then there was some like nightlife things. Like the university actually hosted some things on their own. They hosted some like parties, which blew my mind because there was alcohol at the parties, and I'm 20 right now, but the drinking age in the UK is 18. So it actually makes sense because when the students go to university, they're normally 18 years old, so they'd be legally allowed to drink. But in America, it's 21. So that was a little bit of a shocker to me. I was like, the university is hosting a party that has alcohol? What? And there was a bar on campus, like, whoa, crazy stuff. Yeah, we would go either on campus, or there was also some clubs we would go out to a couple of times, and just like experiencing all these different things of nightlife. Because I haven't been to any clubs in America because I'm not 21 yet, so that was a whole new experience for me. We also got to travel around. I did have notes, but I think I've kind of gone off tangent a little bit on a couple of things. Let me see what I've mentioned so far. So basically, one of the coolest things that we did was being able to just travel around. My friends and I, we booked a trip to go to Budapest for Christmas time to see the Christmas markets, and oh my gosh, it was so cool. It was like being in a storybook. Really cheap tickets. It was like $50 round trip, and we all split an Airbnb. It was 8 of us, and it was a really easy process. I mean, it was like not the most glamorous thing, but gets you to where you need to go. And the fact that we were able to basically book this trip on a whim, like we booked it a couple of weeks before we went. Oh my gosh, it was just such a cool experience, just feeling like I was one of them, like I was one of the Europeans. I was able to just hop on a plane and travel to another country whenever I wanted to. It was just that opportunity in itself was something that I am just so grateful that I got to experience. It was so much fun, and it was so special to feel that way and be a part of that country, that continent. Oh my gosh, I wish everybody could experience that. I also took a lot of local trips around on the buses. The bus system in England is really nice. They make it really easy, and it's so cheap. It can go like £13 round trip to go to like Oxford or Cambridge or Bristol, because those are the places that I got to go visit. And just doing these random little trips was super fun as well. Like that was one of my favorite things to do, was just go on a day trip. Like I would just leave super early in the morning, and I'd come back kind of like a little bit later at night, but I got to spend a whole day in a new city and walking around, exploring, trying new foods. It was never expensive. It was really cheap travel because you didn't have to pay for Airbnb or anything, just taking advantage of the opportunities that were there. The biggest bummer was this year when the Corona stuff started happening, and everything changed. It changed really quickly, and I ended up coming back home in March, or actually it was like end of March, but beginning of April. It was like March 29th, and I didn't expect the year to end so soon. There was a lot of things that my friends and I were planning, places we were planning to go, but I mean, I know that Corona affected a lot of people, and it's really unfortunate, you know, everything that's happened, and I feel grateful that I really didn't have it so bad. Like, yes, my time there got cut, but thankfully I'm safe, and my family's been safe, and grateful for that. But it definitely is a bummer that everything in London had to end so soon. But, you know, I got to see how fast the city changed, and waiting in line at the grocery store, and how the public transportation system was changing, and flying back during all of this was crazy on an international flight nonetheless. Arriving in America, being tested, and, you know, scanning my forehead for temperature, all that crazy stuff. Like, that was such a wild experience. Basically, overall, this whole London experience, the even reason why I'm making this video, because it does feel very narcissistic to talk about my life experiences, but there is a purpose for it. I feel like if you, or not even I feel like, I know that if you have a dream, if you have something that you've always wanted to do, somewhere you always wanted to live or visit, even if it's just for a short time, you can totally do it. I mean, I don't know what all of your personal circumstances are, like where your life is at, but why not at least try? Like, just Google it, see what options are out there, because you might surprise yourself. It doesn't even have to be with the organization that I use, even though I found them to be really helpful. There were a bunch of other programs that I was looking at too. This was just the one that worked for me. So if you find one that works better for you, awesome, you do that. But I just want to like get that one and be there with you and just shake you and tell you, oh, you can dream. Like, let's see what we can do to make your dream happen. Like, I wish I could do that for all of you and just help you through all the different steps. But at the very least, if you have any questions, if there's something that I've talked about in this video or anything else, please feel free to leave it down below. I can't promise that I'll know all of the answers, but I'll do my best to give you whatever information I can. And I just really hope that you get the opportunity to experience something as crazy cool as living abroad in a dream city, because I think it's something that you can totally do. The world we live in now makes it really easy for these kinds of opportunities to happen. And hello, just wanted to make a quick little insert in this video. I know that I'm talking about how the world we live in makes it really easy to travel, and current world times with COVID, that is not true. But the world that I'm talking about here is a post-COVID world where hopefully things will be returning to normal somewhat. Mainly I was just mentioning about like all of the different programs that are out there, because hopefully when things from COVID die down, then those programs will start back up and there'll be a lot of opportunities to look through. But I know currently that isn't the case, but hopefully we'll be getting back to that point soon. So that is kind of the world that I'm speaking to in this video. So sorry if that was confusing, just wanted to clear that up. It doesn't have to just be something that you always live wondering the what if. It's something that I think everybody can do, and you know, even financially, there's like you could take out little loans, you could borrow from people, you could do fundraisers, like you could do so many different things, and I feel like it's worth it to at least try, because you'll never know. So don't let yourself be stuck with the what if, because I know that the what if questions used to eat me alive, and I had to make my life switch, and that is why I've now lived in 2 different cities in the past 3 years, and I am just so grateful for that opportunity. And it wouldn't have happened if I had just stayed home and just didn't even try and see if I could make that happen. If I always just thought about it and didn't do anything, none of that would have happened. So okay, I think I have repeated myself a couple of times in there, but overall, like, main idea, if you have a dream, you owe it to yourself to at least try and see what you can do about making it happen. I can't guarantee that it'll always work out the way you think it will, but it's worth it to just at least see what kind of options are out there for you. So with that, thank you for listening to this very long video. I hope that it was informative and maybe entertaining in some way, shape, or form. But until next time, hope you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!